Hello everyone and welcome to the next tutorial here on the channel, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use packaging tape, a clear packaging tape, to help you with cutting out decorations and designs. For this tutorial I'm going to be using HD clear packaging tape made by Duck brand, so if you have this, it's just going to make the design that much nicer, and it'll hopefully help you out. And you're also going to need a solid surface. If you are following along with this tutorial as I'm showing it to you, you're going to need a solid surface for this tutorial. A duct tape painting on a canvas is going to work out perfectly, and I'm actually going to be using a silhouette design here because it's really simple and it'll work out perfectly for the packaging tape, which I'm about to show you how to use. So let's get started here on this tutorial. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is put this aside for now because we don't need that until later. If you print out your design, like I said, I'm using a silhouette because it's very easy to cut out. All it has to do is just around the sides, around the surface, and that's all you have to do for your entire design. So basically I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to save myself a little bit of trouble and cut out just a border around the design that I want. Like I said, in this case it's a silhouette, a very simple silhouette. Next I'm going to do is take the color duct tape that I want and then put a packaging tape on that. So I think I'm going to go with black because obviously the silhouette is black, so let's grab some black duct tape and put that underneath this design. So using our black duct tape, I put down the 3 strips just like that on my mat here. So I'm going to put that black duct tape aside, and you want to make sure your silhouette does fit obviously on that entire piece of tape that you cut out and stuck down. Now we're going to use the packaging tape, so we're going to take one piece up like this. And it doesn't need to be fancy, you don't need to be fancy at all. You just want to take the entire piece and stick it down so that this piece is obviously directly on top of the duct tape. Cut it off on the bottom. And then if I can get this next piece up, we're going to take it again, stick another piece down like this. Sometimes static electricity builds up on the tape, so it might actually attach to your piece of paper before you even come into contact with it. So that you're going to have to play around with that, but it shouldn't give you too much trouble. Just a little added thing to worry about. One more piece ought to do it here, so we're just going to stick that right down on there. Make sure it's flat. Make sure that the paper isn't buckled at all. You want to make sure it's a completely flat piece on there. So now we don't need the packaging tape. So now that is totally attached to the duct tape, which is also attached to my board. So there's no way that's going to move around at all because obviously it's sealed down in between the duct tape and the packaging tape. So it's not going to move around. I can just easily cut out the silhouette and then put it on whatever I want to. So let's get started on the cutting. So before we get started on the cutting, I want to share one quick tip with you. It really helps if you have a really sharp X-Acto knife. Like if you can work with a dull one, but the fact is that a sharp X-Acto knife will really help you out here, because when you cut this out, you're not only cutting through the packaging tape, you're cutting through the paper as well if you have a little bit of a border around your design, and you're cutting through the duct tape. So that's really 3 layers that you're trying to cut through. So you definitely want your X-Acto knife to be somewhat sharp when you do decide to cut through here, because otherwise if it's dull, it might give you a little bit of trouble, and you're not really going to know if you're actually cutting through the 3 layers for one thing, because you usually can tell if you pay a little close attention to what you're cutting. And obviously you're going to have to recut the entire thing when you try to rip the entire thing up. Ideally what we want to do is when we rip the entire thing up, we want just the design that we cut out to be left. And if I push down hard enough with this sharp X-Acto knife, that's exactly what we should get. And hopefully I'll have the chance to show you that in just a few seconds. The reason that I'm using silhouettes, once again, is because they're so simple. I mean, I don't have to do any cutting in the center. All I have to do is just the outline of a image, and that's all I have. So obviously that cuts out that entire piece, but that's not really what we're concerned about. We want to be able to peel up the duct tape underneath as well as the paper and the packaging tape. And you should be able to peel this up pretty much just like this. And the reason why part of it's coming up is because it's several different sheets here. So let's see here. So it's not coming up too well on that side, so let me see how well it does on the bottom. So this is exactly what's going to happen if your X-Acto knife isn't that sharp, or if you didn't push down hard enough. Probably didn't push down hard enough because this is pretty sharp, so you might have to help it along just a little bit. So you want to very carefully just trace over that line that you did before. And the reason being is that also you not only have those 3 layers which I just talked about, but when you overlap you're also going to have another layer of duct tape underneath. So that's actually 4 layers that the X-Acto knife has to cut through. And that can be a lot, especially if you're not pushing down that hard, kind of like I was. So we're very carefully just going to help this along here. I'm kind of going to look and see where my line already is, so I can help it along a little bit. It can go exactly how I planned it, but hey, when you're filming, nothing goes exactly as planned, especially not on the channel. So we're going to cut out the bottom here, just like that. And ideally, that's exactly what you're looking for right here. And if it worked out well, I would have peeled up that entire piece around the side, and it would have looked just like that. But it didn't work out quite that way. But there's our silhouette. Now all you have to do is just stick it onto our background, which in this case will be my duct tape painting over here. So let's peel it up here. Very simple image for this one, so it's not like I have to worry about little strips or little pieces tearing off. Just very carefully going to peel that up. And I'm just going to stick this probably right in the center there. This is just an image that I pulled off online, by the way. It's not like a actual picture of someone, and no one in particular. So I'm going to stick that whole piece on just like that. And there we have our duct tape silhouette, and on a very nice painting. And it basically took no time at all. I mean, a minute or two to put the packaging tape and the duct tape down, and then you just cut right around, and you've got a very simple painting. So that's how to use, the packaging tape to really help you out when you're cutting out designs that don't really have that much to them. Like if you don't have that much on the inside of the pattern, if it's just a silhouette like this, it really comes in handy. So now I want to show you what you can really do with it and make it look a lot more elegant and basically a lot prettier. This is just another silhouette which I found online. Cut it out exactly the same way. Obviously put the black tape down with a white image this time. And this flower was actually on the picture as well, but when I put the entire piece down, I cut out the flower, and then I just, using that piece, because when you pull up the entire image, if that's in the center, that's going to be one flower covered with packaging tape. So it's going to make it a really simple image to transfer around, because it has the paper has that packaging tape attached to it. It's not going to fold or crease because it has that extra layer of packaging tape stuck to it. So I just stuck that down on another piece of red tape and packaging tape, put it on again, just like I would with a giant image, and cut that out. And I just, just freehanded the little pieces of the flower inside, and then you have, a very nice image, a very nice silhouette. So like I said before, silhouette's really simple to do. I got the one we just showed you how to do, and obviously this one which I made a few days ago, and it's a really nice painting which you can probably frame and it'll look pretty nice. So that's how to use packaging tape on your designs and decorations. It can really help you out if you want to keep your design down, or if you're doing something like simple like silhouettes. It works out really well. A lot of people told me about this a few weeks ago, and I really never used it before, so I wanted to give it a try and probably film a tutorial on it, which is obviously what you're watching right now. So take care, guys. There'll be another video coming soon introducing some more designs of duct tape that just came out, so stay tuned for that. That's coming pretty soon. And hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial on using packaging tape in your decorations and designs. Take care.